Well, it seems like Ubisoft can't stop taking L's. Assassin's Creed Shadows was a garbage game. They only talked about player numbers instead of talking about the copies sold. The game was buggy, ugly, hideous, terrible voice acting, and terrible gameplay. And then after the game came out, they sold off to the Chinese because they are desperate for money. And now because they did that, their stock is falling apart. And we're going to read an article that's going to go over it. But before we get into it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to push this video out in the YouTube algorithm. And we have an article to read from Insider Gaming. The headline says, Ubisoft stock falls double digits days after Tencent deal because the money is going out of the company now because Tencent bought a portion of Ubisoft. He bought Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege franchises. So of course the stock will fall apart because it's not worth as much because the biggest franchises of the company left the company. It's only gonna fall apart even more because if you're not using those three franchises, what are you even gonna do? You have nothing. At least you don't want to use anything else. You don't want to make another Splinter Cell. You don't want to make another Rayman. You don't want to ever finish Beyond Good and Evil 2. So what are you going to do if it's not going to be Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, or Rainbow Six? Who knows? But the people who are invested in you don't want to deal with this. And I can't wait to see layoffs as well because money is just going out of the company like crazy. What do you expect when you have flop after flop after flop? But let's continue reading the article. Ubisoft stock is falling again just days after the French-based publisher announced a deal for a new subsidiary in partnership with Tencent. The company's stock fell by double digits on Monday. Looking at the markets in the United States, United Kingdom, and France, the company's stock fell by at least 11.80%. As of closing in the UK, Ubisoft was trading for 11.19 euros compared to 12.15 euros it opened at. In France, stock prices fell 12.6% down from 11.16 euros. The fall fully erases the 11% gain the company saw in stock prices on Friday, less than a day after it was announced. Shortly after the deal was announced, multiple employees reached out to express worry over layoffs at Ubisoft for those not working on those included franchises. Ubisoft says it expects the deal with Tencent for the new subsidiary to be completed before the end of 2025. When it closes, Ubisoft will maintain 75% control of the new company that includes Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six, and Far Cry game. And that is the article. And what does 75% even mean? Why didn't they just sell off the... Well, I know why they didn't sell off the whole franchises. Because they need that to make money because that's the only franchises they care about. But I don't understand this whole 75%. That means Tencent can tell you to do 25% of the decisions based around these franchises. Can they just send it to another studio? That's what I think. I think they should. Send these franchises over to a studio that knows how to make good games. Here we get an Assassin's Creed game that takes place in China with some beautiful Asian, big booty, big chest Asian assassins. Can the Chinese do that? Because at least they know what gamers want. The Chinese are not dumbing down their characters. The Chinese are not making their characters ugly, particularly women. We see attractive women in Chinese games like Black Myth Wukong and Marvel Rivals. They know what gamers want. That's why these studios are falling apart in the West. Because they hate gamers, they hate men, and they just want to push their disgusting politics in their games. Instead of listening to their audience, they rather piss off their audience by putting in a bunch of disgusting homosexuality that gamers don't want to see. So the Chinese have input in those franchises, just take it over. Just buy them out. Just buy out the whole company. I wish somebody would have just bought the fucking company. I wish they would have just sold off all their IPs and just shut down the whole studio. But unfortunately, this will have to do. And I hope a lot of people are worried about layoffs because I want layoffs to happen. This company has way too many fucking people working at it. The credits for the game, Assassin's Creed Shadows, were 2 hours long. Why do you need 2 hours just to list all the people that worked on your game? That is way too many people working on a single fucking video game. Half the company should be fired. That's fucking retarded and unexcusable that you have that many people. But instead of saving money by not hiring so many people and not bloating up all of their games, what do these idiots do? They spend over $2 million on influencers. That's what this short headline says. How Ubisoft spent $2.1 million on influencers to secure the launch of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Again, let me say this for Ubisoft and all these developers that want to pay our people to say their game is good. Instead of paying people to say your game is good, just make a good game and you won't have to pay anybody. You won't have to pay $2 million fucking dollars to content creators. $2 million. And guess what? It didn't work out. Your game didn't sell millions and millions of copies. You still sold out to the Chinese. You paid off big streamers like Hassan Piker who sympathizes with terrorism, and despite paying all people, your game was still shit and you still have not not announce the amount of copies sold because you are embarrassed by that number. That's why you kept using the metric, oh, we reached 3 million players, and everybody in the replies of those tweets was just saying, what about copies, what about copies? But you're too much of a fucking pussy to tell us the amount of copies sold. So oh well for Ubisoft. I don't give a fuck about this company. Most gamers are tired of this shit, especially how greedy they are. Gamers want to see you fall. Gamers celebrate when your stock prices fall. Gamers celebrate every time we hear about your suffering because we cannot stand your company. And I hope your employees will get laid off. They said they are worried about it, and I hope it happens, and as soon as I hear the news, I am celebrating. So oh well for Ubisoft, I guess. All we have to do is wait and see how low this company will go. So I don't have much else to say. I don't want to keep repeating myself. So Ubisoft, go fuck yourself.